Good morning, great old patriot Rob Harrington. Well, today's lesson is class. Here's what's not going to work. First of all, we can't have a big armed revolution that slaughter us. We just would never be organized enough. And most of us just be killed off for what? There has to be peaceful solutions on how to fix this mess. We're going to have to admit some things together as a group, as a people who are like-minded, who want liberty and freedom for not only themselves, but their children and their friends and their neighbors and their families. I would hope that's the majority of America, that really most of America is centrist. We're not far left and far right. The far left and the far right, if you look at the Nolan chart political circle, it's not an x-axis, it's an x and a y. And at the top is libertarianism. And I'm not saying join the Libertarian Party because they couldn't sell pussy to a troop train. They're controlled by the Republicans, which means they're always doomed. And of course, the far left, they're ultra-fascist corporatists too, as the right is. And as you continue the circular path of politics, at the bottom is tyranny. That's communism, socialism, fascism. Well, we're fascist. Fascism is corporatism. Mussolini, he said it. That's his words. Hitler looked up to Mussolini for his governmental framework of how he wanted to run Nazi Germany. Fascism is corporatism, which means when the corporations are in bed with the government, like they are in our country for these forever wars we have, where Congress people have voted to make it legal to insider trade, especially on defense and intelligence stocks and security stocks, and they're getting bloody rich off insider trading information because they voted it legal to do that. That's conflict of interest. It's probably fraudulent. So anyhow, you have to just all come and admit to one thing. We all got to be on the same page. So here's the truth we have to admit together. Can't have an armed revolution until there is one. But no time soon, hopefully, that we do have some peaceful remedies for this, on how to do this. But we all have to come to terms and agree on many things. Number one, we're under foreign invasion by Israel. They want to destroy our country so they can come in here and scoop up and steal all of our resources and all that. And they're very close to winning. And this new NDAA, Section 422, I believe it is, by memory, is just an abomination. We're handing the control of our military to a foreign country. Where is that constitutional? How does that benefit the typical American? Okay? We can't do that. Israel's a genocidal, maniacal, insane country. They're racist. They're horrible. They're the new Nazis. They make the Nazis look like pikers, like amateurs. I'm sorry, if you're Jewish, you're being used by the Zionists, and you're stupid too for allowing the Zionists to use you and abuse you as they have through history, like the Bolshevik Revolution, for instance, or World War II, for instance, the transfer agreement. Read that book. So, okay, back to, again, we have to make some basic concessions and agreements that we can't have an armed revolution, not at the moment. We have to build this thing based upon peaceful anarchy, if you will, and there's ways to do that. We have to all admit we're under foreign invasion by a foreign country. The Constitution's there to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, right? The domestic terrorists in our country are our Congress. We all, third, have to admit that the Democrats and Republicans are on the same team. They've met now at the bottom of the Nolan chart, and they're all basically tyrannical, power-hungry, insane. They're criminal cult people. They're all a criminal cult, both parties. You have to admit that. You have to walk away from your party, because by defending your party, you're defending the cultist, fascist, corporatist, mindset. Got to walk away from both parties. We have to all understand and agree that a third party is not a solution. Third parties, and I've been around the Tea Party and the Liberty Movement and the Libertarians, and they're all doomed to fail because they're controlled and manipulated by the higher party, which is part of the two-party duopoly, the uniparty fraud that occurs every day in our country and has for 100 years. So we have to come to terms on that. You have to do this in cells. You can't become a large group that's going to be taken over and infiltrated, because that's what the bad guys are going to do. They're going to infiltrate you, to ruin you, to break the group up internally. So these will have to be done in a very cellular level, in small groups that are band together, but connected by these cells, if you will, by these strands. That's an organizational issue, and we'll discuss this in other videos. Another thing that we all have to consider is that the endless wars are for endless enrichment of Congress people and their buddies up in D.C. and Washington and up there. That's why we have all these wars. We have to understand and all agree, we're not fighting for freedom and liberty for anybody. We're fighting for the pocketbooks of crooked, criminal people that are in power, and they're elected into power by crooked money. Okay? If you don't understand that, then you're living in la la land. So those are the 5 or so basic tenets that we all got to agree on. And if we can't agree on that, we're done. We're doomed as a country. We have to agree on those 5 points. So let's start there. Can you get 10 other people to agree with you and start forming your cell? Just like the prison cell. Because we're all going to live in a prison cell if we're not already. Peace.